the organization of human life, its systems of communication and systems of control are extended more and more and more in just the same way, for example, that by assimilating the minerals out of the soil and the rays out of the sunlight, a plant like a fern grows and grows and grows and extends its form. And in this way, its organization prevails. Now then, you see, if you take this task of what we call the conquest of nature, the task of making order victorious over chaos or randomness, if you take this seriously, you will look upon it as warfare. And you will firmly believe that the most urgent thing that there possibly can be is to make order prevail over randomness, to make good prevail over evil, to make life prevail over death. And we find that when we are in a contest of this kind, a serious warfare game of this kind, and we take it seriously, we are involved in it in a very deep and bitter sense. Now, the difference of Buddhism from science as a form of knowledge is that in Buddhism, it would be said that this view of things, this view of the task of life as making order triumph over disorder, leaves something out. You remember right at the beginning, I made some importance of a Sanskrit word which is fundamental in Buddhism, avidya. Avidya, which meant, means non, vidya, knowing. Non-knowing or ignorance, or better, ignorance. Ignorance, in other words, leaving something out of account. And I want to use a familiar illustration to show in what way we ignore. You see here a figure which is apparently, as you look at it, two faces in profile about to kiss each other. Now, if we draw back a little from those two faces, we can see on the white area in between them the form of a cup. But the interesting thing about this is that as you look at it, you will either be able to see the form of the cup or the form of the two faces in profile, as it were, about to kiss each other. You can alternate them between them very rapidly, but you will not be able to see them both that way at the same time. In other words, either the white must be the background and the black the figure on the ground, or else the black must be the background and the white cup showing up on it. And so in this way, we are unable to see, really, we can think it. After a while, we can get accustomed to the idea that the figure and the ground, the black and the white, are mutually necessary to each other. In that figure that I showed you, you could say both the cup with the stem and the two faces are there. But our ideas about them, our concepts, are mutually exclusive, and we cannot see them both at the same time. And in the same way, in this figure that I drew, we either see the sawn-off stumps or the bear claws. It's difficult to see this figure both ways at the same time. And so, also, just as we see one and not the other, so we identify ourselves. After all, when you're looking at the white figure in that illustration, which is the cup, you, as it were, identify with the cup. When you look at the two faces, you identify with the profile. So in the same way, when we experience the world around us, we identify with the subject, the knower. We don't identify with what we see. But as a matter of fact, if there is nothing seen, there is no experience of a seer. If there is no seer, there is no experience of anything seen. They both go together in the same way as the black and the white. And this idea that the yes and the no, the black and the white, the inside of a class, say we draw a square as representing fundamentally the idea of class. I can't have a square which doesn't have both inside and outside. They go together. And in Buddhism, this going together is called shunya. Although this is often translated void, it means that the inside of the square cannot exist, is void without the outside, the subject without the object, the black without the white. And this, of course, is represented in this fundamental Chinese figure of the yang, or the positive principle, and the yin, or the negative principle, like two fishes, constantly circulating, going round and round and round and round in the alternations of life. Now, the question is, are these two fishes involved in a fight? Is the white one eating up the black one, and the black one trying to eat up the white one? If that is the situation, then, of course, life is fundamentally nothing but a grim contest. If this one up here is the good fellow, and this one is the bad fellow, if this is order and this is chaos, then a fight goes on between them. And that's largely the way in which our technology has interpreted man's situation as against nature. This is man, the white, the good fellow. This is nature, the dark, the bad fellow. And the white one has got to eat him up. But what happens if the white fish succeeds in eating up the dark fish? The white fish disappears as well as the dark one, because the white one is only there in relation to the dark. So then, if these two fishes, as it were, wake up, if this one wakes up and this one wakes up, which is called awakening in Buddhism, they realize they're one. In other words, they go together. They're inseparable from each other. And this realization is that experience, which is called in Zen Satori, or in Buddhism, Bodhi, awakening. This sudden dawning on our consciousness that life is not really a contest to make yes triumph over no, to make the positive triumph over the negative. The two sides go together. And then one sees in this strange way that underlying all that is negative in the world, all that is in a way painful and evil, there is a kind of necessity to it. It goes with the good. It is necessary for the good. Disorder is necessary for the manifestation of order, just as you must have, say, a black background to show up a light figure. And then when one sees that, a profound transformation takes place in one's attitude to the world. That is to say, instead of looking upon life as a contest, it becomes a dance, it becomes a game. One doesn't withdraw from it, one doesn't stop living, but one goes into the game so that these revolving fishes are no longer trying to eat each other, but they're just going around dancing, having the biggest fun in the world. So then, must we have fixed in our minds the idea that all the forms and patterns of nature are simply methods of attack or defense, that they're devices for camouflage, that they're simply lures for sexual attraction or other utilitarian purposes? Or can we see in them a dance, a joyous cosmology?
Well, I have a sort of suggestion, and that is this, that before we decide either to save the planet or to destroy it, we pause for a moment of silence. I don't mean that kind of grim silence which one observes when somebody says, such and such a famous person has just died, and we'll observe a moment of silence in his honor. And everybody frowns and thinks very serious thoughts. That's not silence at all. I mean real silence, in which we stop thinking and experience reality as reality is. Because after all, if I talk all the time, I can't hear what anyone else has to say. And if I think all the time, and by that I mean specifically talking to yourself subvocally inside your skull, if I think all the time, I have nothing to think about except thoughts. And so I'm never in touch with the real world. Now, what is the real world? Some people have the theory that the real world is material or physical. I say it's made of kind of a stuff. Other people have the theory that the real world is spiritual or mental. But I want you to point out that both those theories of the world are concepts. They are constructions of words. And the real world is not an idea. It is not words. Reality is you find, therefore, that if you get with reality, all sorts of illusions disappear. And I will mention several illusions that have not this kind of existence. Let's begin with some very down-to-earth ones, like money. Money is a very useful method of accounting. It is a measure of wealth in the same way as inches are measures of length and grams measures of weight. You cannot eat money. You could have a fantastic quantity of dollar bills and stock certificates on a desert island, and they would be useless to you. What you would need would be food and animals and companions. Money simply represents wealth in rather the same way that the menu represents the dinner. Only we are psychologically perverted in such a way that some of us would rather have money than real wealth. But you know, you cannot drive in 5 cars at once, even though they be Cadillacs. You cannot live simultaneously in 6 houses or eat 12 roasts of beef at one meal. There is a limit to what one can consume. So that's one of the sort of confusions I'm talking about. Another is that we confuse ourselves as living organisms with our idea of ourselves. That is to say, with a conception of myself which is called the personality or ego. That is what we have been told we are. And it's an extremely crude and limited conception of oneself, of the actual unique living organism. And we get unhappy because we're thinking of ourselves in this way, because we think, well, gee, I'm going to die. I once talked to a woman who came to me and said she was afraid of death. And we went into it in a long conversation. I said, what are you really afraid of? And she thought it over and thought it over, and he said, do you know, what I'm going to be afraid of is what other people are going to say. They're going to say, poor old Gert, she couldn't last it through. Because you see, who you think you are is entirely dependent on who people have told you you are. You're not that. Then another thing that bothers us is time. Most people nowadays say, I have no time. Of course you don't. Because you are not aware of the present. You know, the present is represented on your watch by a hairline that is as thin as possible as is consistent with visibility. And so everybody thinks the present is instead of
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is EJ, and welcome to today's hidden silent stream. Let me put on a little light here. May help out a little bit. We're going to go over a few lineups for Sunday's Classic main slate that starts in an hour. I'm going to review some of the lineups I did with Chris, and I'm going to look at a couple new plays I like. So let's check it out. All right, welcome. If you're joining for the first time, this is EJ, Breathing Fantasy Football. I'm going to be on just for an hour. I am not an expert in DraftKings by any means. I don't claim to be. I'm here to share positive vibes, good intentions, and overall just be relaxed. I do yoga on my stream, and I also obviously do a little gambling. Well, I don't know how you want to call it gambling. It is, you're putting your own money in against other people. I know this pretty well. I work in the poker industry, so I'm aware of what we're doing here. All right. Let me get back to chat. If you guys are chatting, just drop me a message. We'll talk about any play. If you want to use any one of my lineup, that means you're watching the stream and you're liking it. Go ahead. I don't care. I do GPP plays mostly, so a lot of the plays I'm looking at are low ownership, and of course you have to have some of the chalk. I try and limit. I've learned through Chris, so since he's been on my stream for about maybe 6 or 7 times now, and we've been just talking about some deep punt plays that could pay off huge. I think the biggest one we like is KJ Hamler this week. I don't think he's being talked to as much. I don't really watch any of the other advice. So if you're coming on, you're like, someone else is talking about. I don't care. I don't know. I've seen it a little bit of what other people talk about, and they're talking about what everyone else is talking about, of course. But you know what? I like this guy this week. I really do. His price didn't change, and he had a huge touchdown at the end of that game. So maybe that's some momentum carrying into this week. Another player we didn't talk to that I like that's a super deep play is this guy. I don't think it's Russell Gage. I think it's either this guy or Zacchaeus. And he looked – they said that he came in and took up all the shares, all the snap shares for so that's something to look at there. I am going to throw him in maybe one more lineup. I have 2 reserved that I'm still going to work on. So if you want to jump on the stream, just comment and we'll You can just jump on by commenting and just tell me some plays you like, and we can enter them in a lineup, see what we like. So here's one that we did. Herbert, Connor, Jacobs, Diggs, Hamler, Guyton. I really like the Guyton play. Henry. We get Julio in this one. Jacobs is what? That's just a routine. Did not play probably. Failing predator. He's going to play, and he may do well. I think he's going to be low ownership. That's what we're looking for. I don't think – would you say McCaffrey's a chalk play this week? I don't know. That's one. So let's look at this one. Daniel Jones, McCaffrey, Gibson, Slayton. I put Gage in this one. Hamler, Ingram, Cook, Steelers D. Steelers D is the chalkiest play this week. And it's probably the highest defensive price so far this season. But, man, if they don't get you a defensive touchdown and somehow the Cowboys put up 14 points, if the Cowboys put up 14 points and the Steelers don't get you a defensive score, it's a huge strikeout. Like, that's – I mean, I know the Cowboys look like poop, but, man, they still have some offensive weapons. Let's see here. Let's look at the other Daniel Jones. So I got both these. I may change one of these up. They're almost too close. But this one I changed up the tight end, receiver. So a few of them. I think I'll leave it because I really like this correlation with Jones getting these two guys involved, Slayton and Ingram, since Golden Tate's out. And Slayton, he's had a couple big games with Daniel Jones in the past. And Ingram hasn't had a breakout game yet. He may be due. Look, no breakout game. He had the most targets last week. I think for 4K, people are going Hunter Henry. I think Evan Ingram may be a better pick if Daniel Jones has a good game. They still got something to play for. Everyone in that division does. So they're going to be playing hard. So I like the Daniel Jones play this week. I think it's low ownership. I don't think people – if you get 20 – if you get 22, it's a win. It'd be nice to get a rushing score and not trip up like you did against the Eagles. Let's see here. So I got another Daniel Jones. Is that the same one? No, this one's a little different. This is one of the first ones. This is one me and Chris worked on. So I'm sticking with the Jones, McCaffrey, Gibson. This one I went with a big play into that game with the Redskins. Yeah, I got Ingram and Slayton and Gibson. This one I put Robinson, DeWine Robinson, and Kelsey. So I got two big receiving options with no Mahomes. That's as if I'm trying to say Daniel Jones is going to keep up with Mahomes' numbers. Yeah, this one's a hard sell, but I like it for the price. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one. Let's change it. So what should we change first? How do we want to try and put Mahomes up here? That means we got to cut these two guys out if we want Mahomes. So if we go Mahomes here, what's a running back around 5,900 that – man, I like – Chris isn't high on David Johnson. I like David Johnson this week just because the Jags are very vulnerable against the run, but that is a chalk play. I don't see how it's a chalk play because he has not been that good. So if people are expecting this is the week he gets 20 points, I guess that is a chalk play then. I don't know. I'm not an expert, man. So if you're joining, just drop some comments below. Say hello. This is EJ, Breathing Fantasy Football, literally. And I do this through a yoga meditative mindset. So I did a little yoga this morning. I'm kind of relaxed and chilled. And I'm ready to offer any advice I can on the players. So what do you think I should change for this one? Should I take Ingram out and just, how about I like Ingram this week. Let's take Slayton out. Let's keep Robinson. Can we fade Kelsey this week? Man, it's so hard to say you want to fade Kelsey. But 7,200, that's such a high price. Or do we go for like Tyreek Hill, who his ceiling is higher than Travis Kelsey? Go that route. I'll keep these two guys in there. Running back, maybe I'll go back to McCaffrey. 2,500. I can get like a punt tight end here. I want to almost see, or I can change out Steelers D and get a real serviceable tight end. That's really what I should do. So I think 3 most talked about defenses are Steelers D, Cardinals D, even Titans, or not Titans D, Texans D. You know who I like as a another play I like this guy, Pittman Jr. This gives me 3,500 on a defense. No, I don't think I'm a fan of where that falls into. What does that give me? I could pay up a little bit. Let's see, what is it, 62? Ooh, I can go Schuster here. I feel like everyone's going to be on James Conner. And he could get his first big game of the year. This is there's no correlation between these two games, Pittman and Schuster. But you know what? It's a unique lineup, so we're going to roll with it. There, I'm going to zoom out. So you guys can jump on the stream and check out some of the lineups I did for the Sunday Classic. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. Thank you for joining. When we come back, I'm going to do some yoga mindful breath now. So if you're new to the channel, I do a few breath work just to get you relaxed and clear your head. If you don't want to do it, you can just pause or blank out the video. I really don't mind. So wherever you're at, just come to a relaxed spot, seated. Draw the shoulders back. Let them just naturally rest down. Drain everything out, all the breath out. Breathe in through the nose. Deep inhale. And let it out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in one more time here. Deep inhale. A little bit more. Exhale, release. All right, guys, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Three little pleasures.
Huh? They just needed to not try it out.
good.
Hi guys, I am back with what I was doing. I said 11:50. We're back a little early at the 43 minute mark. Minute mark. Say that a couple times. So, and it's 11:44. Good. So let's see here. I don't want to stay on until 12, a little longer. So let's see here. I'm gonna do two more for the stream here. You know, one person we didn't put in a lineup that freaking Chris said with Josh Allen. I mean, does he get you that 40-point game that you're looking for? I feel like he's a big chalk play. What about Lamar Jackson? Everyone's going to be fading him because he sucks so much and he's still high. He's going against the Colts, the best D in the league, is what everyone said. This is not a chalk play, not at all. And he could get you. They're playing for something. I don't know, man. I feel like if he does have a good game, he still do. I have to put him in the lineup until he has a big game. This is a game that is a heavy fade. I don't have him in any. I'm kind of going against. There is a big contrarian play. What about Andrews? I don't like. Yeah, I feel like Andrews is due for a game as well. 6. Yeah. I don't want to be a game log guy, but you have to just see if there's anything in the numbers. So he hasn't got more than 60 yards in any game. Is Lamar going to be looking for his tight end a lot because the receivers are going to be covered great in the secondary there? Man, there's just so much better price. Like, you don't have to go 60. You don't have to do Lamar Jackson. That's the thing. There's guys that can get you 20 to 25 points in the 5K range, like Daniel Jones, Drew Lock. Drew Lock, he should get you 20 again. He cleared it last week. He doesn't look that great, but maybe he'll have a big game today. That's really who I like. It's so hard. I'll keep Andrews in because I want to go. I want to put Michael Pittman Jr. in there. So let's do a Drew Lock with the receiver for the Colts. You want to fade this game? Fade this game. But you know what? This game is not going to be that owned. What about Willie Snead? I have him in one other lineup. Is he a sneaky play? You know what? I said I was going to roll with. I got to stick to my gut. I'm going Lamar Jackson. I'm going to do the Colts Ravens stack here. Let's see. What does where's he at? 3,900. I don't like Pascal. He's been in the league for a few years. He just hasn't done it. I'm a fade Pascal because Hilton's out, and I'm gonna try the 1% owned guy. Yeah. So he looked like he was gonna get you a little bit. If he gets you 15 points, that's cool. Maybe 20. You just never know. It's not pretty, but What does Jonathan Taylor look like? I've never touched him yet in anything. He had one breakout game in week 2. I feel like this is a Nyheim Hines type of game, and not. And Hines just had his game, so does he get back-to-back games? I don't like that play. I just want to stick with the one. Snead's not even a great play, but I'm going to roll with it. It's very different, for sure. So I want to pay up for a couple running backs. Should I go chalk on the running backs? Would you say if we went top running back, McCaffrey? And then we went Tyreek Hill, filled in the other spot. My other running back here, we can go like Connor or Edmonds. What if we went Edmonds? In defense, we went Cardinals. Flex, we got 5K to spend. I know the perfect 5K guy. DJ Dallas. Would you say this is a cash lineup? I mean, I don't see how it's a cash lineup because I'm going Lamar Jackson. He's not going to be owned. He's going to be owned less than 5%. That's not a cash lineup. So if this goes off, and according to anything, I don't know. I like it. I got my Lamar Jackson lineup in there. I always got to put one in until he breaks. Let's see. So we got another one. Let's see. Let's look at some 3K receivers again. Who is that guy? Could the Titans step up on defense? They're priced pretty good, 3K. No sacks in back-to-back games. Chicago offense is pretty poor. This is a big game for both teams. They haven't had a defensive score yet. Let's see what a Titans Henry lineup looks like. Hey.
You'll need to get off this stream and go bless your water.
Yes, that is true. After we do this stream, I am gonna go bless the water. Let's see here. I want to look at a 3K receiver.
And the Buffalo Bills are going to win today.
Woohoo! You heard that? Buffalo Bills are going to win today. So because she said that, I'm going to pick a Bills stack here. How are the Bills going to win, you say? Well, they are going to throw it to either Metcalf, Lockett, or what about the other guy, Moore? He hasn't had any action. Oh, he did catch a touchdown. Oh. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? If you jump on the stream, say hello, say anything. We're here to just you guys are on those Facebook pages typing away. What do you think of this lineup? Why don't you jump on the stream and do the same thing? We'll talk about it instantly, at least for a few more minutes. But I shared my invitation to anyone that wants to talk fantasy football wants to connect with the breath, with whatever it is. If you don't like this style, you can go ahead and exit out. I really don't mind. But this is to connect others through fantasy football, through a good positive mindset. So what do you think of that David Moore? So Tyler Lockett didn't do nothing last week. Does he have the big week now? It's just so, oh man, I really don't like Lockett. I never put Lockett in anything. I hate Lockett. But man, everyone that plays these lineups is like, oh, he's going to do it this week. Let me just put him in. And it's like, yeah, okay. I don't know, man. I'm a GPP guy, so we're on the stream doing GPP lineups. So if you jump on the stream and you see my face on the left side, just type a comment. I'll say hello. We'll talk about any plays. This is my last lineup I'm going to do. See, I got a new viewer. If you are looking to look at some of the lineups I've done, here's 8 of them. So, that reminds me. I want to throw Christian Blake in another lineup. Maybe I'll do it in this one. Oh, hey, how does it sound? I mean, I think it's coming through my mic here, so it may not sound that good. But if you hear it in the background, I appreciate it. And I appreciate your music. You do a great job, man. Thank you. So let's see here. Who do we like? I did want to pick someone from Buffalo, Seattle. Man, do I go Lockett here? Do I pay down and go Davis maybe for Buffalo? I haven't done anything since. I don't know, man. John Brown's playing. He'd be a sneaky play. For 4,600, nobody's going to have it, man. Let's throw him in there, man. Let's look at quarterback. I like Herbert. I could go Hunter Henry here or Evan Ingram. I like those guys. Let's see here. Henry is due for a game. He hasn't had a big game yet. 1 touchdown in the year. What if he has 2 touchdowns for 40 yards? That's huge. 18 points. I'll take it. Man, I don't feel like the Raiders D is for real. So what if I'm McDighton here? And this is really, really. So we go. What if we might? This guy's playing. He's going to be a fade, which is great to put him in here. 7,500, I can get I can get Diggs instead of Brown. Brown here for this one. Welcome. I see I got another viewer. If you're here for fantasy football, just drop a comment. Say, hey, we can talk about any play for Draftkings GPP, daily fantasy. What if I looked at, I can get Hardman here. I don't like it though. There's something that's just not right. Maybe it's the Henry play. Everyone's talking about AJ Brown. Chicago, man, he caught a touchdown every week since he's been back. Every week since he's been back, he caught a touchdown. This guy is pretty good. Derrick Henry's due to have a monster game again. Maybe he gets shut down. I don't really see what shuts him down. I don't know, man. We haven't been talking about any of the Vikings receivers too much. So what if these guys have a game? And I went, let's try where's he at? Where's it that far? Oh, Kirk Cousins. That's what I was looking for. Let's try Kirk Cousins lineup with Hawkinson for Detroit. Hall, or I don't want to put Marvin Jones in this week. That's a big chalk play for that price. Hawkinson is, I want to say he is too. Man. What is so many teams have had great performances against the Jaguars. Man, I've wanted to put David Johnson at least one. That's a big cash play. But I'm going to go against Chris here and put David Johnson in one. I could upgrade 1,000 here somewhere. Where could I really benefit? Who do I need to change? Can I get a better quarterback that correlates? I could. I can get Josh Allen right there. Leave 200 on the table. I could change Guyton for, I can't get Hamler, so I'm not going to change that. I like this punt, deep threat, maybe catches one ball, two balls, I don't know. I got no jacks. Players going with that one. What does that defense look like? No, not defense. Let me go back to my Titan C. Should I try and find a correlation between the running back and the receiver here? As he goes out. That's just being stubborn, trying to put him in there. I like J.K. Dobbins this week. Ooh, you know what I can get? I'm going to go Pittman Jr. here. That gives me that correlation. I like that. I can go. So Allen to John Brown for 2 touchdowns. Henry crushes with the Titans. D over the Bears. Thielen's a sneaky play with Hawkinson. They're lighting up that game. And we got Tyler Lockett as our chalk in this lineup with Dobbins and Pittman having a game. Let's roll it. All right, guys, one last time. Anybody that should change? What do you think? And I know this may not change Russell Gage's looks, maybe. But he hasn't had a big game yet. And he knows the system. I don't know. I want to stick with Gage there. What do we see here? What do we see? What do we like? Can I change this up? Should I go Kirk Cousins over Teddy Bridgewater? Not Jefferson. Can I go? I can go Tyler Lockett here. Keenan Allen's questionable. Oh, he's expected to play. Sore throat. Yeah, that's a great game for Guyton. With him banged up with his throat issues, whatever that means. You know what? I'm not going to change this one. I like it the way it is. I'm not a big fan of Bridgewater. I don't have him in any lineup, but you know what? We'll just roll with it. So that's it, guys. We'll end the stream with one final yoga mindful breath. Was hoping that somehow I could have nudged Chris to wake up and jump on the stream. Maybe he's out and about, getting ready for his Sunday activities. He knew I was going to be out of town. I got back in early with my wife last night from the festival. That was a great, fun time. We met a lot of good minds, positive energy, and overall just being good to others. So wherever you're at, just drop your shoulders down, softly close your eyes, rest your hands on the computer desk or on your knees, and just let the breath completely out. Breathe in through the nose and out. In one more time. And out. All right, last breath, deep inhale. A little bit more. A little bit more. Pause. Exhale, release. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I'll be back on maybe later if these lineups are a big thumbs up. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Love having people on. It's been a pleasure. Peace out.